figure it
Yeah, we
out
can
and
always
pick up
pick
another
up another
time. But,
time. All
I mean,
right.
what we were talking about, well, at least we got through all the Star Wars shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks though because I can't do next week or the week after. I thought it was good. Looks good. It should be good. What do you think? We're gonna get through that fast.
Yeah, so for those of you wondering why this is such an abrupt start to the the second stream here, or the second VOD, for some reason the previous stream got taken down while we were live. So this is part 2 of episode 8, for those of you wondering. And we were in the midst of talking about the Blue Beetle trailer, and it seems as though we're all pretty much in agreement that it looks pretty cool, and we're looking forward to seeing, how they tie it in with the DCU and whatnot in the future. But yeah, I thought it was cool.
I'm afraid we got swatted, bro.
Imagine.
Oh my goodness.
That would be crazy.
Sheesh.
That's how you know we made it.
Anyways, let's move on.
Yep.
There is there's a DCU spoilers Reddit page. Let's wait for that one to get fucking kicked out. The DCU spoilers Reddit page mod team revealed a bunch of new information from their sources last week. Now their sources could be literally nobody. But that being said, the first of which is that DC apparently has 10 unannounced projects for Chapter 1, with 6 of those projects being Superman versus the Authority, Peacemaker Season 2, Lobo, Animal Man, Mr. Terrific, Mr. Terrific, and Justice League The New Frontier, which will mark the end of Chapter 1. They also claim that Jeremy Slater will write and Matthew Vaughn will direct The Authority. So, looks like we're keeping dude, but he's not Aquaman.
Right.
So, Jason Momoa, welcome.
Yeah. I don't know. So hold on. What were some of those other projects? We got Peacemaker, Lobo,
Animal Man. I don't know what the fuck that is. Mr. Yeah. Terrific. Don't know what the fuck that is. Peacemaker Season 2, Superman vs. the Authority, and the New Frontier Justice League movie.
Yeah, so I think the Lobo and the Superman versus the Authority one are probably the two that sound the most interesting to me, aside from the Justice League, the New Frontier movie. Obviously that should be a banger as well, considering it's probably gonna cap off Chapter 1. But apparently it's based off, or it's gonna be loosely adapting the comic book storyline of the same name. I don't know if you guys have read or know the New Frontier storyline, but I don't know a whole lot about it. All I know is the main I guess antagonist of that comic, which is like an entity called the Center, which I guess it was like born in like the center of the earth. And I know there's a part in the comic where it like manifests as this floating island that's guarded by like dinosaurs that
Oh yeah, him.
So we'll have to see, but that definitely sounds like the weird, like wacky storyline that James Gunn would definitely be behind. So Yeah, we'll have to see. But aside from that one, like I said before, yeah, I think Lobo and Superman versus the Authority are definitely probably the two I'm most looking forward to of those unannounced projects, if it's true. But we shall see.
That we will. Okay, well, moving on to
Yes.
Deadline, who has reported that Clayface will reportedly, in their report, they reportedly reported that Clayface will be a major character in the upcoming Batman Part 2 film. Although they later said that the script is constantly changing, so this is not 100% confirmed just yet. Additionally, a Clayface solo film is reportedly being considered, while director Mike Flanagan has pitched an idea for such a film that the studio is considering. Such a film would be a horror/tragedy where Clayface wouldn't be depicted as a villain. Too bad he's a nerd. Get him out of here. But no, that's cool.
Yeah, so as to the first part, well, we'll talk about the Clayface movie first. Yeah, as soon as I heard the remark where they're like, yeah, Clayface wouldn't be depicted as a villain, the first thing I thought of was Morbius. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I was like, okay, dude, like why do these studios keep thinking it's a good idea to take these clear-cut villains from like the comic books and try to like, make them into like heroes or even like anti-heroes so that they can be in their own.
Clayface. Sorry, continue.
Well, that was it. That's all
I was gonna say, well,
but...
Clayface is actually, he started out more like, what's his name? But essentially, he started out more as like a sympathetic character. That at least in like the Batman animated series, I think it was.
Yeah. Yep.
He was an actor that was doing very well, but then he had, I'm sure it's one of those fucking open vats and acid. But his face got disfigured, and he couldn't like act anymore or make like any money because of it. But he had gotten this like topical cream that had like essentially fixed his face, but he got addicted to it and overdid it, and that's essentially what turned him into Clayface. But that's just one of the many origin stories. Yeah.
See, like I could get behind that if like, they go that route, and then maybe by the end of it, you kind of see him like starting to become more of a villain, because I just don't see how, because if it's true he's going to be like one of the main characters in the Batman, like what is he going to be, an ally to the Batman if he's not a villain? Like I would just much prefer to see him like, I don't think he necessarily
has to be
like a clear-cut bad
an
guy.
Antagonist to Batman.
Yeah.
And like I don't think they're mutually exclusive, that he can't be a bad guy and also more of a sympathetic character.
True.
Because that when you're put in those those fight or flight situations, that's human. That's just human. Like to do things for self-preservation that you wouldn't normally do,
right?
Under intense stress. But if anybody can pull it off in a live action, I think it's Matt Reeves. So
for sure.
I'm excited for I'm literally whatever they do. I'm hyped for it, because people hate on me when I say it, but The Batman was the best Batman movie we've gotten. The Dark Knight was the best movie that was about Batman.
True.
But when it comes to being a true Batman movie, it's the Batman. Like, if you look at any comic book depiction of Batman, essentially, like what it goes down to,
right?
It's a detective. It's Detective Comics. I mean, that's essentially what DC started as.
Yeah.
But I'll die on that fucking hill, man.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. They're definitely very close for me. the Batman and the Dark Knight. The one thing I'll say about, because like both movies are more like grounded takes, right, on the Batman, but I will say the reason I think I prefer the Dark Knight a little bit more is because they do have like, you know, a very small amount, like very small elements here and there of kind of like that. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, I guess the more like comic book fantasy element, like for instance, like whenever he meets with Commissioner Gordon, like he turns around and he turns back and then he's just somehow like disappeared, like he's just gone like all the time. Like they have like some stuff like that here and there that's like obviously like that's not gonna happen in real life, like it's not realistic. But I do like that aspect. Like I feel like Batman, even if you're going for a more grounded realistic take, like I feel like there should at least be some elements of, you know, like the comic books, right?
Bro, he got shot in the chest with the shotgun.
Yeah, but he had armor.
He got electrocuted, then dropped in water.
True. Yeah.
He ran into he should have died when he paraglided.
That's true. That's true as well.
Yeah, you're right.
But essentially, where I'm getting at with the point is, if it's true that they are, you know, that Clayface is going to be one of the major characters in the second movie, that could be them like starting to introduce like, you know, more of those comic book elements that I'm talking about, because Clayface is the exact opposite of a realistic take of a Batman villain, and that's like the flip side of the coin, right? Because part of me is like really excited about that, like, oh, like this is awesome, like we're finally, well, first of all, we've never seen Clayface before in live action, and you know, second of all, like I said, you know, that could mean they're starting to include more of those elements in this realistic take. But the other part of me is like, you know, if they are still going for this realistic take as Batman, how are they going to pull this off? Because like, I would not want them to do like a realistic take of Clayface like that doesn't fit the comic book character. I mean, sure, there are ways they could do it, like maybe, you know, they keep like the part where he's a former actor or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know how you could really do a realistic take of his powers, but I'm sure they could find a way. But me personally, I would not want that. Like if they're going to have a villain like Clayface, I would just want them to be maybe not like exactly 100% comic accurate, but I wouldn't want them to like just do a completely different take either, you know what I mean? But that's just me. And you know, if it's true that the script keeps changing, maybe we won't even have to worry about it. Like maybe he won't even end up being in the final version of the script, but it sounds like, at least as of now, it's more than likely going to happen. But
so you think this movie is going to be done in claymation?
Here we go.
Moving on.
Yeah,
alongside Clayface, solo films about Poison Ivy and Scarecrow are also reportedly being considered by DC. James Gunn denied the Poison Ivy film report, but has yet to comment on the other two potential spin-off films. And I hate that shit. He has yet to comment, so it's, who knows? It's like, bro, you didn't even ask him. You're just making news out of nothing.
I know.
But yeah, I just hope they don't go the fucking Disney route and just put too much on their fucking plate. But
yeah, so
we'll see what happens.
This was also in that DCU Reddit moderator post, as being like from their verified sources this information was from. And you know, obviously James Gunn, he did debunk the Poison Ivy rumor of the three films. But even when I first heard this, like even before James Gunn said anything, I was like, you know, I can't see it. Like I could see them doing a show like they're doing with the Penguin. Like I could see them doing like spin-off shows for each of these villains, but to do full-on movies for each of these, like I just couldn't see it. Like I couldn't see that being the case. But you know, maybe we'll see. And I will say, like, James Gunn, even though he has been like confirming or denying like a bunch of stuff on Twitter ever since he, you know, took over for Warner Bros. As the new head of the DC, you know, and the new DCU and whatever, like ever since he ever since, you know, he said, "Oh, Ben Affleck, he's going to be directing something," and then like a week later Ben Affleck was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything for them." Ever since then I was like, okay, like I'm starting to believe James Gunn less and less now, you know, based off what he's like confirming or denying about certain things online. So even though he has quote unquote debunked the Poison Ivy thing, I mean, you know, maybe he's just trying to keep it a secret, who knows. But yeah, I would definitely, long story short, I'd definitely be down for spin-off shows for each of these characters, but again, provided that they don't they don't go like the Morbius route and make them like heroes or anti-heroes. But we'll see what happens.
That we will. So I got two more things here. Keanu Reeves recently revealed that Constantine 2 is still actually not confirmed yet, although he has high hopes that it will be. Apparently, it was greenlit before James Gunn took over, so the new regime has to give it the okay again. They would be stupid dumb to not hop on this Keanu Reeves train and make another Constantine 2, but, you know...
Yeah.
These billion-dollar companies are stupid dumb sometimes, so...
Yeah. Even then, I was going to say the only thing I could think of is maybe they have like a different take on Constantine for like the actual
like,
DCU, and they don't want anything to be like confused. But then that's also not an argument because they're having two versions of Batman.
Yeah,
like
and
the
also
Matt Reeves
the only Constantine like the general public knows is like either Keanu Reeves is John Constantine, or if you're one of the few people that watch the Sandman, or the whatever the Dark Justice League movies,
right? Yeah.
The animated ones were. But like for something that people want so much, I don't know. I feel like it'd be a missed opportunity.
I agree. Yeah, one other thing or quick thing I wanted to say too about the like Batman villain spin-off movies that we talked about before. The Joker that's the formula right there. Like if you're doing like if you're doing spin-off like anything for like movies, TV shows, whatever, like that is how you perfectly do like a solo project for a villain, in my opinion. But because they didn't try to make him a hero, they didn't try to make him an anti-hero, anything like that. Like they still kept him as, you know, a villain of sorts, but it's just, you know, a good movie.
Agreed. But yeah, that's I got one more here on my little listy list. I swear I've said James Gunn's name like a billion times tonight. But James Gunn revealed that there has been vague, loose discussions with Disney about a DC Marvel crossover event. I know we've talked about this. And I remember we said that like if anybody was gonna do it, it's probably gonna be James Gunn.
For sure.
However, he clarifies that such a project is still a long ways away, as they need to firmly establish the DCU first. And I 100% agree. This is like, that's like an afterthought. Like, if the fucking MCU is still alive and if the DCU is thriving, like, then, like, maybe in 10 years they can start thinking about it. Maybe in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's... I mean, Sony and Marvel, or Sony and Disney pulled it off, but, like, working together, but man, multi-billion-dollar companies don't like to share revenue. But they'd be missing out on so much revenue if they didn't.
Oh, for sure.
I think if they're both alive in 10 years, it's definitely something that gets talked about.
Yeah. And just like, well, the logistics behind it too, like the Sony deal with Marvel was probably easier because it was just one character, right? Like Spider-Man,
exactly,
like join the MCU. Whereas if they do this, it'll be like, you know, well, maybe not all the characters from each side, but like probably like the Justice League and then like the Avengers, which is like, quite a few characters from both sides that'll be in the same project. But I think, and we probably talked about this before too, like the fact that James Gunn is now, in charge of DC. The fact that he's worked very closely with Marvel before, he knows Kevin Feige, all those guys that are like higher up there. I think this is the best chance we have of seeing something like this happen, because
Yeah, absolutely.
if it was anyone else, I think the odds would be significantly lower of it happening. But, we'll see what happens.
That we will.
Evan, did you say it was going to be thought to be live action or animated?
I didn't say, but I would imagine it'd be live action. Probably both eventually, but
yeah,
if they did do it, I'm sure they'd want to do a live action
for sure.
At least first.
Yeah, it would be. I can't see it being anything other than live action. At least like the first one, like you said, but we'll see. One way or another, it's still going to be a long ways away before anything like that happens. So,
I mean, you could do the Wallace and Gromit thing and make it the new meta with the claymation superhero movies.
Don't even give them ideas.
I'm just adding fuel to the fire here. If you want to roll with it, you can roll with it.
I'm running with it. But yeah, so we don't have a whole lot, really anything of like video game related stuff like we normally talk about. But there is two very quick things that we'll quickly cover. The first of which is that they announced E3 has been canceled this year. And by all accounts, probably for good. I highly doubt it's going to come back. All these game studios, they're kind of doing their own thing now, like their own reveal events, right, for like their upcoming games and whatnot. So E3 has slowly been becoming less and less, I guess, necessary. But yeah, it's now officially been canceled. So there's that. And the last thing, which is funny because I think I told you this the other day too, Evan, they revealed the file size for PC for the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Survivor video game. And it's going to require a whopping 155 gigabytes of file space. So, it's
clear out the SSD, boys.
Yep. Basically delete everything because you're gonna need it. But they, at Star Wars Celebration, they actually showed some new gameplay and a new trailer for this game, which we won't be watching because we don't have the time. But if you're interested in the game, I would highly recommend checking that out because it yet again looks like really cool, really great gameplay. And they also revealed a bunch of other information about the game too, in terms of like what you can do and all the stuff that they've changed and added from the first game to this game. So definitely looking forward to that. And I think I'll probably stream this game as well. We'll see what the hype for that would be on this channel, but there's probably a good chance I will end up streaming the game when it comes out. We'll probably just do like, I don't know, we can maybe do like a Q&A for like Star Wars as well, like with the chat, like while I'm playing and stuff. But I don't know, we'll figure it out. But if anyone's interested in that, definitely make sure to let me know in like the comments or something, because that's something that I've been debating on whether I'll do it or not. But anyways, that I think that's gonna wrap it up for the podcast. So that will conclude things for episode 8 of the podcast. Full disclosure, we do not yet know when the next episode will be. Evan here, it's gonna be like 3 weeks or so before he can do another one. We might do
probably. Let me give you a date. Probably the 30th would be the earliest I could probably do it. Like if it's another Sunday.
Right. Okay.
I could do the Monday, maybe the 24th. Depends on if because that's my last like morning on call, and if I'm like busy in the morning, that probably means I'm busy at night the night before, so I'll probably be sleeping most of the day on that Monday. But the 24th or the 30th would work, but in between we can make it work if we need to.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. For those of you that are interested, definitely make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because I'll probably make a community post in terms of, what the schedule will be and what we'll end up doing at some point soon. So we'll probably... So CinemaCon is the 25th through the 28th, I think. So we'll probably do one of two things. If there's a lot of news, right, that comes out over these next 2 weeks, probably myself and, maybe Ben, if he wants to do it as well, we can do like a quick podcast on the 24th. Whether you're able to join too or not, Evan. That way we can just, knock out some of the stuff. And then the following week on either the 30th or May 1st, we'll probably end up doing like a full length podcast to cover everything, since that'll be like right after CinemaCon as well. So more likely than not, that'll probably be what we end up doing. And then the week of CinemaCon as well, that's when Jedi Survivor comes out, so there's a good chance we'll probably do some streams playing that game as well. But that is the tentative schedule for the streams the rest of this month. But again, we will make sure to let everyone know, clear cut what we'll be doing pretty soon. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And with that being said, everyone have a good rest of your week until the next time we see you on the podcast, and we'll see you then.
Goodbye forever.